Tony Mir, and today I have a very special guest. State your name, special guest.
Hey G fans, I'm GojiFan1993.
And today we are going to do kind of like a debate between Destroy All Monsters Melee and Save the Earth.
Yay.
What are your opinions on this?
Well, you have like a list of things for us to discuss about the game, different aspects of it, like gameplay, sound design, graphics, extras, and all that good stuff. But I think if you have known me for a while, and if you've been watching my channel for a while, you probably know that Destroy All Monsters is my favorite Godzilla game of all time.
Yeah, that is very true. I think we've all come to know that very well. And on the other hand, I'm a supporter of Save the Earth, and I believe it's the best game of the Godzilla franchise, or of the Bandai Atari trilogy. So I don't know why I said Bandai.
I mean, like, for me, Destroy All Monsters is the best Godzilla game in general, just like period, just best game. Doesn't matter what developer it's from, but it's just the best Godzilla game ever.
Yeah, and we are going to agree on some things. Just some things that really show out that if one game completely decimates another in a certain category. So some of the topics I do want to go over, well, not topics, but sections I do want to go over: gameplay, story, graphics, controls, the rosters of the games, the console's availability, the maps, the extras such as art, anything like that, and the overall experience. So we're gonna first start off with the gameplay. Now, I think in the total gameplay of how smooth it runs, I think Destroy All Monsters has this one in the bag. I think it's an easy type of deal.
Yeah, that's one thing I've always noticed with it is that, and as a disclaimer for me going throughout this whole video, I do know that objectively Save the Earth is better. Like I get that, but when it does come to controls, for some reason, Destroy All Monsters just runs a hell of a lot smoother. The controls, like when you're fighting, the smoothness, the smoothness of the movements and the way that the characters go, it just feels overall way better than Save the Earth.
Yeah, and I've noticed with Save the Earth that in some of those mini games you have during the story, or some of the bigger battles you have in some of the bigger stages, the game just runs like complete shit. I've noticed that.
Yeah, it does lag.
Another thing that I've noticed with Save the Earth is that if I get even a one-on-one battle between Kiryu and Mechagodzilla 2, if they start firing their missiles at the same time, my game can't even handle even that, let alone just a big battle between some big monsters.
Now, which that also depends on which console you play it on. Which one are you playing it on?
I actually played it on the PlayStation 2.
Okay, see, that's the thing, is that the PlayStation 2 version of Save the Earth was optimized terribly.
Oh yeah.
The Xbox version runs a hell of a lot better. So just keep that in mind as well.
Yeah. The overall Xbox version has a hell of a lot power to it.
Yeah.
Anything else we want to cover in this area? The only thing Save the Earth does have an edge over Destroy All Monsters in this kind of category is they do give more of a variety of movesets. They give the monsters each individual moveset. That's where it beats it.
Yes, that is a bit of that definitely is a thing that you can't deny, is that each character is not there's no clone characters in Save the Earth, which is nice. So that's one thing. That's it.
I mean, obviously, if you have two different types of Godzillas, they're going to be similar, but they're special in their own way too.
No, I mean, but like Godzilla 90s and Godzilla 2000 in Destroy All Monsters, they played exactly the same. They were clone characters just with a different skin. But in Save the Earth, Godzilla 90s feels to his personality has a bit more of a brutal play style to him, and then Godzilla 2000 keeps the somewhat old, like from what Destroy All Monsters Melee looked like. But Godzilla 90s, they actually changed his whole movement set to make
Yeah.
him feel a little bit more of his own kind of character rather than just another clone character. Same thing with King Ghidorah and Mecha King Ghidorah. They have different movesets.
And Mechagodzilla 2 and Mechagodzilla 3 or Kiryu.
They also that's actually one of the nice things about Save the Earth is that they there are no clone characters.
Yeah. All right. So out of those 3 cloned pairings from Destroy All Monsters Melee, going into Save the Earth, what would you say is your best out of those 3 pairs? So if you know what I mean, like Godzilla 90s or Godzilla 2000, Mechagodzilla 2 or Mechagodzilla 3 or Kiryu, and King Ghidorah or Mecha King Ghidorah.
For me, it's Godzilla 2000. I play better as, and then for the Mechagodzillas, Kiryu feels a bit. Kiryu just feels a little bit better. And then when it comes to Mecha King Ghidorah, I don't know. I think just maybe the original King Ghidorah is a little bit better, at least for me, my play style.
Yeah. I would have to say Godzilla 90s from that aspect of during Save the Earth, because I feel like Godzilla 90s is just a much more aggressive character. I feel like I'm more empowered when I use him compared to 2000. And then when it comes to Mechagodzilla 2 and Kiryu, I think Mechagodzilla 2 completely overpowers Kiryu because he's an absolute tank. And they basically make Mechagodzilla 2 do it all. He can do it all in pretty much both games, what's I've noticed. And when it comes to the King Ghidorah twins, which I'm gonna say that, I'm gonna have to go with King Ghidorah just because I think he's an overall better monster than Mecha King Ghidorah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think control-wise though, we got to give it to Destroy All Monsters Melee. It's just way better, smoother.
Yeah. So on the next topic, we're gonna talk about the story. So I think in the story aspect, Save the Earth, I think, has the edge over Destroy All Monsters. Not by a lot, but it definitely has the edge.
Yeah, I would actually have to agree because Save the Earth is what's funny is all these Atari games, including Unleashed, which we're not really going to talk about because I don't know, but it feels like the odd person out in the whole trilogy. But this whole trilogy actually does have a throughout each game, like they actually connect to each other. Like if you really look at it, they do have a connection. It's not like they're all separate games. They actually do have this big, long, overarching story that leads up to the events of Unleashed, and then when it ends. But Save the Earth. I think the only reason why Save the Earth had a better story is just because they had more. They had maybe a better budget or something, and they had time to maybe flesh out a little bit more of a story. They still have. I mean, it's nothing really like grand though. I mean, it's the same kind of plot. Aliens are coming down. They take over the minds of the monsters, and then they send them out to kill everybody. The only thing that I noticed that's really cool about Save the Earth is that the FMVs, the cutscenes, are super detailed and amazing. Like they just look amazing. And then when you beat the game on hard mode, and you get to see that end cutscene where Space Godzilla gets shot up into a black hole, like that part's really cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Yeah, and Destroy All Monsters though was definitely more of a campy, kind of cheesy one because they showed the aliens having more.
There's 2 cutscenes. I mean, not to say that Save the Earth doesn't have 2 cutscenes.
There's 3.
There's
3 cutscenes.
There's 3 cutscenes?
Yeah, at the beginning before you play, and then there's one before you fight Mechagodzilla 2 at the end, and then there's the end one where he's like, "Oh, you foiled our plans," blah blah blah. So yeah, there's 3.
Yeah. Don't really have like a meaning to the game either.
Not really. It's just you get more points, I think.
Yeah,
for that.
I mean, it would have been different if you unlocked a secret character, but like, I mean, I would have definitely motivated me to get every single G cell in the game.
Yeah, as like an unlockable.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, I mean, I'm just gonna go with Destroy All Monsters Melee just because it's very simple, cut and dry, and it has a little bit of comedy to it, and it feels like a Showa movie. So I'm gonna go with Destroy All Monsters Melee when it comes to the story.
I'm gonna go with Save the Earth just because
I'm more nostalgic over it too.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm gonna go with Godzilla Save the Earth just because it goes beyond that point. It adds a little more to the story, makes it a little more different compared to Destroy All Monsters Melee. So I'm going with Save the Earth on that one. Next category we have is graphics. I mean, I don't think this is going to be a very big thing to talk about, but Destroy All Monsters wins this.
Yeah.
It blows it out of the water.
And there's once again we gotta talk about the details, I guess, when it comes to those, because there's the different console versions. And on the GameCube, where Destroy All Monsters originally came out, the graphics were all right. So if you compare Save the Earth, let's say, to the Xbox version from the GameCube version of I'm just gonna say Damn Melee.
Yeah.
The Save the Earth obviously looks better.
Oh yeah.
But then when Melee got ported to the Xbox, oh my god,
it really took over.
The graphics just, I mean, honestly, they still kind of look good to even to now.
Oh yeah, I think they look great.
And so then when you compare the Xbox Melee graphics to Save the Earth on the Xbox, and I'm not even going to talk about the PS2 version because the PS2 it looks awful.
Yeah.
But the Xbox version of Save the Earth, it does look good, but something about the graphics got muddled down, and I don't know what happened, but everything just looks a bit muddier.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Destroy All Monsters Melee definitely wins that when it comes to graphics, at least on the Xbox version.
Yeah. I agree. One thing I noticed with the Xbox version of Godzilla Save the Earth, well, just Save the Earth in total, I think they make freaking Godzilla 90s look Asian. Like they contorts his eyes or something. It looked really weird. Like, yeah,
there is something with the design choices that they changed over with some of the monsters, especially with the eyes. And actually, when it comes to the Xbox version of Melee, some people actually complain about the graphics, that at least when it comes to like Godzilla, that sometimes his skin texture, it's so detailed that it kind of looks like I guess really heavy tree bark on him.
Yeah,
like it just really shows. Like sometimes it's a bit too much, but I don't know. I mean, overall, really, like, and also not just talking about the monster models, but even the environments look really good.
Yeah, the environments
do
very well,
especially for how big they are. But we'll get to that in another topic.
I've noticed that in Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee, all the monsters included look very glossy too, and I'm not sure if I'm a huge fan of that because it just kind of looks like they've gone out of the water. But I mean, the graphics look really good still.
Yeah, some of them do.
And I've noticed in Save the Earth, they look very boxy too.
Yeah, like I said, they just changed something with the graphics.
And I know what you mean by muddier, because Orga definitely looks muddier than what he does look like in Destroy All Monsters Melee.
Yeah, Orga doesn't really look that good in Save the Earth, honestly.
Yeah, it's... Next we have the controls. Again, Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee.
Wait, didn't we already talk about controls?
No, we talked about gameplay.
I thought that was the first thing we were talking, like smoothness and...
Yeah, we're talking about like controls, like how responsive they are and stuff.
Oh, well, that's what I guess I was making points to this at the beginning. I guess when it comes to gameplay, I mean, they're both... that's where it's really hard when it comes to gameplay, because they both nail the gameplay.
Yeah.
That's where it's very hard to decide which one's better, because they're all... Like, one thing I guess I would say is the neat like sound effects when you hit your monster, and the effect that shows when you hit the monster. I know this is more aligned towards gameplay rather than controls, but I got mixed up, I guess. The blue hit markers, the yellow hit markers, and the red hit markers, they actually indicate like different things. Like I remember reading the guidebook, and if you get like a red hit, because usually what would happen if you play as, let's say you play as Godzilla 90s, you do the attack where he puts both hands over his head and he does like this just complete like overhand like pummel to the ground to the monster. If you do that to, let's say, Megalon, there's like the red hit marker, and apparently that indicates brain damage. Now that doesn't really, I mean, it doesn't correlate to the actual game, but I guess it just does more damage. So like the more damage you do the different sparks show, and I think that's pretty cool. The thing with Save the Earth, they removed all of that, and it's just these like sonic wave decals that happen when you punch the monster, and it kind of takes away the impact of actually hitting the monster.
I just like Save the Earth, and some of the controls feel my favorite.
Yeah, it's sluggish.
Yeah,
Sluggish.
just really sluggish.
Yeah, very sluggish in Save the Earth. In Melee, it's very responsive, very fast, very fluid. You can pull off combos really easily in that, but in Save the Earth, it's very sluggish. And once again, I don't know if that has to do with the performance of the game, or they just tweaked something and it just didn't turn out as well. But yeah.
Next we have the
For me, control-wise, Melee.
roster. Now I'm going to say that I think that they really went out and took the very next step. In fact, the biggest step Godzilla game has gone in terms of talking about like how many new monsters they added and stuff like that. Because they did add some really interesting monsters. Some I wouldn't have even added in the game, but some were just kind of like, okay, we need to have this monster in the game.
Yeah, and it's kind of sad. I don't really blame Strong Monsters mainly for having a small roster, because obviously, it was the first game, and Toho probably didn't want to give the rights to too many monsters just in case the game might have not done well or anything like that. And that kind of shows that that's why Save the Earth had more monsters, was because obviously Melee was successful, so Toho felt confident in giving them the rights for more monsters, to use more monsters. And the thing I always say, I kind of have this argument towards Unleashed. I'm sorry, I'm going to kind of talk about Unleashed a bit, but the thing with Unleashed that a lot of people tell me is Unleashed is better because there's like over 20-something monsters. That's okay, but the fact that I can barely play as any of them, like because the controls are so bad and that the monsters themselves just aren't really good to play as in Unleashed, I would rather have 10 solid playing monsters that I have fun with playing every single monster, rather than have over 20 monsters that I really only stick to like 3 monsters out of that whole roster. Now with Save the Earth, the good thing is they don't have those clone characters, so that once again it kind of boosts up, because honestly, like we talked about with Melee, because of those cloned characters, you can actually minus 3 monsters, because technically they're the same. So really it's just a skin thing that you want, the overall model. But in Save the Earth, you definitely have a lot more characters to play as. And so, I, of course, objectively, I can't even nostalgia-wise, I can't defend that, obviously Save the Earth is better. But once again, it's because it was a sequel and the prior one was successful, so Toho felt confident. And also it was the 50th anniversary game.
Yeah.
So of course it was going to get more love than Melee did. So
yeah. And I hated that they did throw in Mega Gears in there. It's just, she's not a very interesting monster at all.
She's better in the movie. She's not as fun to play as, that's for sure.
Definitely Nogira. He was definitely an interesting addition. I like.
Talk about a powered character.
To talk about is really the consoles, and this is going to be a very big topic to discuss, but Destroy All Monsters Melee.
Competition, Xbox.
Yeah.
Just because it's not like I'm an Xbox fanboy or anything, but it's because the original Xbox was the most powerful console in the 6th generation. The PS2 and GameCube just did not have the kind of processing power that the Xbox had. So of course, when those games are on the Xbox, it's going to run the best out of the other ones. So Xbox is definitely the way to go.
Yeah, not really much to talk about that.
And actually there actually is a little bit more to talk about. I just remembered. Exclusive monsters in the Xbox version of Melee, you get Kiryu. Now, if you live in Japan, the GameCube version of Destroy All Monsters Melee, you actually had Kiryu and Mechagodzilla 93 as well. But the only what's kind of weird is that Destroy All Monsters Melee came out in 2002. So that was when Kiryu first came out in Japan. Now in the States, we didn't get Godzilla against Mechagodzilla until 2003. So when we got the game on GameCube, for some reason they're like, well, they don't know who Kiryu is, so don't give Kiryu in the GameCube version. I don't know why. But then when they ported it to Xbox, that was in 2003. A year later, we knew who Kiryu was, so they made him an exclusive character once again to sell copies. That's really the deal. And also, not only did they have Kiryu, but they also had an extra stage, the Vortak Homeworld stage, which is a really awesome stage to play as. And then because of Xbox Live, they had downloadable content for Destroy All Monsters Melee, and I don't know if a lot of people know. I mean, probably not a lot of people know about it because it's the servers were shut down, and now maps unless you have an Xbox with that stuff downloaded already. But it was like these really weird looking maps, like demo maps or something. It was really interesting kind of looking maps.
Yeah.
But you could download those. So technically, might have been the first Godzilla game with DLC.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, the Melee Xbox version is definitely superior when it comes to the GameCube because you get all this extra stuff. And when it comes to Save the Earth, there's nothing different. There's no difference between the Xbox and PS2 version. You get the same and everything. There's no exclusive anything with that. So, yeah. Although I guess what you could say is you could possibly technically play online on the PS2 version because the Xbox servers are shut down completely. There's no, you can't play anymore on that. Yeah. But the PS2 servers are still up, I guess. So if you manage to get that to work, you can possibly still play Save the Earth online.
Actually, GameSpy's down. I'm pretty sure GameSpy was down a while ago.
GameSpy stuff.
Yeah, it's rest in peace.
But yeah, so I think overall though Xbox wins just because better performance and more exclusive stuff.
Thing we have to talk about is the maps. I'm gonna go Save the Earth again because they have a wider variation. They have some different cities. You can get I like what they did with the Monster Island map. I think it's definitely better than the Destroy All Monsters Monster Island map. The Monster Island map on Destroy All Monsters is just kind of very generic. Not to say that the Save the Earth Monster Island map isn't generic, but it just had more of a, I don't know, a different feel than Destroy All Monsters. Maps are bigger. Are they bigger?
I'm trying to think, like in my mind of like how, but and like I think when you say variety, I mean I think it makes sense. I mean let's be honest, most of the maps are kind of the same, just a lot of big buildings, tall big building, that's really it. Yeah. But if I do remember, I think Destroy All Monsters Melee had bigger maps, but not by much. Yeah. Not by much. It's a very close call with that. Also, another thing, the Monster Island map in particular, I actually like the Destroy All Monsters one a little bit more, not because of nostalgia's sake, but because it actually had an environmental hazard of that lava in those rocks that you could destroy. Yeah. So it's cut off at the beginning, but if your monsters manage to fight over there and then all of a sudden they get destroyed, then you can throw the monster into some lava and that's some environmental damage, which is really cool. I don't think Save the Earth, I don't think Monster Island had that.
The very beginning, the very first level you get to, that Monster Island, it actually does. It's kind of like...
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, wait, hold on. It did, that's right. It was just further back in the map.
Yeah, it was back in the corner. It was an awful place.
So you know what? Never mind. I think I take it back then because if it has the environmental hazard and it's also that map is bigger. The Monster Island map on Save the Earth is way bigger than the one on Melee. So never mind. I take it back. Yeah, Save the Earth wins with that because it's just Although nostalgia's sake, though, Monster Island on Melee was just awesome.
Yeah.
For nostalgia's sake.
I actually managed to glitch out.
But then let's talk about the mothership. Because that was the final stage.
Yeah.
And obviously...
Those were almost complete copies.
they almost, the only thing that changed was they just added more detail to the stage in Save the Earth. It's kind of funny, we're talking about how Melee seemed to have more detail with the monsters, but yet for some reason this map they decided to give it more lights and stuff. Although the thing that's a little bit different is that also the arena that you start in doesn't have a force field around it, and like there's no towers to destroy, and then the force field goes down, then the map extends to be massive. Because in Save the Earth all there are just those green like towers, but they don't really do anything. They're just kind of there to be destroyed. So I guess for me, adding nostalgia's sake and also adding once again another environmental game mechanic, I would have to give it to the mothership on Melee, just because it had that first part where you could destroy those towers and the force field would go down. Then it just expands to a bigger map. So also there weren't as many annoying, because in Save the Earth there's all these ships that are flying around and shooting at you with these annoying sound effects. So once again Melee did a little bit better with that, because it was just, oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was bad. Ugh. I can't stand those guys, and they take off so much health.
Oh, also, going back to the whole gameplay thing, the freaking missile tanks and just those the normal tanks, that every time they hit you, your monster like stumbles a bit. He gets I don't know, the fight.
And the freezer tanks, those are awful. Those are just
so
really hard.
Because like they were annoying in Melee, but in at least in Melee, when you were hit with a missile tank, your monster didn't get like stunned by it. He just kind of shrugged it off. But in Save the Earth, they always come in like a pack of six. They always you see them come up the road and you're like, oh god, here they come. Because like you would try to charge your beam, and then they would shoot right as you shoot it out, and you lose all your energy. You're like, oh my god, it's just really annoying.
Another thing I found out with Save the Earth is that you can shoot your beam as much as your monster, like as much as energy as you have. It's weird. Like, you continuously shoot it and shoot it and shoot it up until you completely run out of energy. Then if you're lucky enough to find like an energy capsule or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, the power up.
Yeah, you just continuously shoot it no matter what. I mean, that seemed very cheap to me.
Yeah. So, but the reason I think just Melee has more maps is because they have the main map, like for instance Seattle.
Yeah.
Which you have the whole map, but then they have like Seattle West, Seattle East, Seattle North. It was like weird, like they cut off sections of the map. It was really weird. Save the Earth didn't do that. They like quit that idea. So I guess
actually
overall,
no, they maintained it, because I remember them having Osaka North.
Really?
San Francisco West. I don't
think they did it with like every map.
Yeah. They just did it with certain type of maps that were probably way too big.
Also, but once again though, I think I'm gonna have to give it to Melee, just because of that extra Vortac level.
Oh, what about the boxing levels? The boxing levels are really cool.
The boxing ring. Yeah, I mean, that's like the highlights of it. Those are like identical, really, in both games. They're not really that different.
They just change up the logo and that's it. I mean, nothing special there. Next we have pretty much extras, just like really, little things. Concept art. It's not a very well chosen topic. I don't know why I chose that, but whatever. I'm just gonna give it to Save the Earth.
Wait, so what's the topic?
Extras.
Save the Earth wins, because there's a lot more things you can unlock. There's let's see, Melee had monsters, stages, and the gallery items. The gallery items, though, I will say, had a very interesting way to unlock them. You had to play on hard or normal, I think. Well, normal and hard. The harder the difficulty, the better chances you're going to find the Atari symbol when you destroy a building. You grab it, and that unlocks a thing. And I honestly like unlocking things through the game that way, because they made it where there's nothing really to unlock during play.
Yeah.
You just keep on playing until you earn enough points to buy the unlockables, which included characters, levels, the gallery items for Save the Earth, and then because it was 2004, they had Final Wars gallery pictures that you could unlock. So yeah, it's kind of a toss up because I like unlocking things by doing things rather than saving a bunch of points and then just buying them. So I also thought that the journey of getting all the gallery items in Melee was really fun because you had to figure out like which buildings would carry the Atari symbol, and whenever they showed up, it was awesome. It was like, oh my god, there's the Atari symbol. So I'm gonna give it to Melee because it had a little bit more fun with unlocking things.
I get what you mean. I have to give it to Melee too because, you know, there's, you know, Godzilla Save the Earth, I feel like had a way of doing things that could just be way too simple. Like, I could easily go on Save the Earth right now, put it on easy difficulty, and go through every single level with Godzilla 90s, just using my atomic breath, and then be perfectly fine, and get so many points. I mean, obviously, I mean, and the mini games, the mini games in the story. Oh my god, why would you do that?
The what?
The mini games and.
Oh yeah. Oh, the mini games were probably the weakest part of Save the Earth, and they showed up way too much in the campaign, and they just stopped the action. Except for a couple, the ones I do like are the Orga fight, which I think is like the last challenge, which is really hard actually because you have to go through 3 stages of fighting Orga, and that was really cool. But then the other one that I really liked was when he was underwater, and you had to fight Ibra at the end. That was really cool because it was like a Star Fox kind of style game. And there actually was supposed to be, there was a challenge that was scrapped, but if you look in the concept art of Rodan flying through canyons, and that was also supposed to be a challenge where you would play as Rodan flying through, and it would be like that same kind of thing, like a Star Fox style game. So, but yeah, most of the challenges though were pretty annoying and not really fun to play.
And let me talk about the potential Godzilla Save the Earth had with like all the concept art I've seen of the game. It was just insane.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was a crap ton.
I know. Like there was just so much potential there, and I think they were just rushed.
Yeah.
That's a damn shame if you ask me. A damn shame. Last but not least, we have the overall experience. Now, you know, just like talking with you about this and, you know, really going over the pros and cons of each game, I'm switching sides. I'm going to Destroy All Monsters Melee.
Really?
Yeah, I'm switching sides. Just how much more enjoyable that game is. Not to say I don't like Save the Earth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're both fantastic games. They really are. You know, it's like trying to choose between your children, you know?
Yeah, but I feel like Save the Earth, you're sacrificing more than gaining.
Yeah, like if only Save the Earth kept everything that Melee had and had the expansions that Save the Earth had, it would have been by far 100% the best game ever.
It would have been phenomenal.
But I have so much nostalgia and so much love for Melee that, I mean, because I literally know that game inside out. You know, I've put so many hours into it, and it's just one of those games that I can always pick up and play. I really never get bored of it. And also oh my god, music-wise, we kind of forgot about that. Music-wise, I do think Melee is better. It just had more of an intense kind of battle music. Save the Earth had a weird, it was more of a subtle kind of battle music. And then speaking of audio design, Melee sounded better as well. Save the Earth seemed to have more of these, I don't know, just didn't seem to have like really good compressed sound effects. They sounded really like not high def, I guess is
Yeah.
the best way to say it.
Yeah.
Also the announcer's voice, you know, the announcer's voice in Melee is just so awesome. You know, it's
Yeah.
like Godzilla 90s, you know, it just
Yeah,
sounded
yeah.
awesome. Save the Earth, it's like the new voice actor was like this guy who was on drugs. He's just like, you know, Godzilla 2000. I mean, not as bad as the Unleashed announcer.
Oh
but,
my! I hated him.
but you know, the Melee announcer was pretty good. So, like I said, I mean, I think everyone knew this from the beginning, but Melee is just, it's my favorite, and I'm gonna stick with it. Yeah, Team Melee, that's me.
Yeah. And just to bring up Unleashed real quick, I've noticed that like there are certain parts in the game that the announcer won't say anything at all for like to any of the introductions of the monsters.
Yeah.
Sometimes he will say it, like the newer guy that sounds like a fucking pedophile. and then the old announcer on the PlayStation 2 version, he does announce Batra's name. I did notice that.
Yeah.
It's very inconsistent. I don't know who they were going for.
Yeah. So.
And I mean, like, so number 1's destroy all monsters, Melee. Number 2, save the Earth. If we would even want to bring up number 3, I honestly think it's Godzilla versus.
Well, that game's not even in the same ballpark. It's a different.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about in general, like.
Oh, well, I made a top 10 list, so
Yeah.
you know, you can go watch that.
Yeah. Anyways, that about wraps up this discussion or debate. It wasn't exactly a debate. It was more of like a discussion type thing, but
Yeah.
whatever. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you go to subscribe to GojiFan1993's channel. I have the link to his channel in the description below. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see everyone in the next video. Later! You want to say bye?
Stay big, G-Fan.